you by.
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Broadcasting live from Nile Avenue is the UBC News Tonight, the 8 o'clock edition. With me, Wadulo Mark Arnold Mukalu Mohammed on sign language, the second day of April 2022. Let's take a look at tonight's top stories.
Brought to you by.
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In our stories tonight, Ugandans working in the Middle East demand for rescue centers. Karuma Dam at 99% completion and awaits commissioning. And across the borders, Congolese refugees going back home despite volatile situation in their region.
Was brought to you by. Everywhere you go, MTN.
Exactly 2 minutes past the hour of 8, we'll now give you the news in detail. The Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has met with Ugandans living in Dubai and expressed the desire to set up rescue centers for emergencies to save the lives of Ugandans working abroad. Now, the Premier also disclosed that there is a need to shift from casual labor nature of work to professional service. These are the details.
Prime Minister Robin Anabanja has assured Ugandans in the diaspora that the government will do all it takes to secure them.
You have a problem of money, funding, and the like. Even that requires you to write. Let us remind the head of state that he pledged here something, and therefore it is my duty and obligation to fulfill all his pledges.
Talking to one of the Ugandans working in the Middle East, Nabanja pledged to ensure that working conditions will have to improve, but urged Ugandans to be cautious about the nature of recruitment centers.
Naitwa mu company security link mbiseera ebyo yakujenagiramu era okuva olwo pozi mbadde nkyusaamu emirimu nga bwenzira mu company ndala
naye olwokuba abaana baba bazze mu bubba abamu baba tebayise mu company abamu baba tebalina kagamba mu bulwenge gye muba trackinga so ne bafa bwe batyo.
One of the ladies working in the Middle East, Zamna Binje, says they remit a lot of money to the country, but they have not been helped to work in a conducive environment.
Nga betulinda amateeka ago tubamu n'ebintu bye tusobola okukola ngaffe ab'akakiiko nti singa zaamu oba president oba speaker oba omuntu omulala yenna afuna ssente n'apangisa ennyumba nti it is a 3-bedroom house n'agipangisa nti yakututaasaako mu period eno nga bwe tulinda official housing status kituyambako okulaba ng'omwana ng'oyo tabonaabonera ku luguudo kubanga talina waasula.
The chairperson of Ugandans working abroad, Abdul Bashir Nsubuga, says Ugandans are now more united and organized than ever before, but require government support.
Ate bw'okola n'abantu abamuwanga gali amalala nga abayindi ekyokwetta kyangu nnyo gye bali omuntu agenda n'asalawo n'ayingira mu hoteeri ne yeetuga ne batenga kuwulya kiwunya ne bajja bamenya oluggi kati abannayuganda baali bafunye embeera eyo naye ng'eyo yajjawo olw'okuba twali tetubafuna bonna.
Some of the Ugandans living in Dubai want government to start giving incentives once they attract investments to their country.
Abantu bewaffe baagala nnyo okufulumya ebibi byokka naye ng'oyinza okusanga n'ebibi tebiweza 1% ku birungi bannayuganda bye bafuna wano mu UAE.
In a related development, the Prime Minister met investors from Lulu Enterprises group of companies who promised to export Uganda's agricultural products.
We have the food, they need the food. I'm told you during COVID time it was tough here. They were yearning for food. In fact, all over Africa. Our neighbors have been more smarter. But this time round, we are going to outsmart them.
Nabanja also held meetings with the ENG company, based in the United Arab Emirates and operating in 14 African countries, who expressed interest in partnering with the government of Uganda to develop public transport in Greater Metropolitan Kampala by bringing buses to decongest the city.
Thank you, Henry Okrut, reporting from the UAE. Now, in another development, local authorities in Omoro Sub-County, Alebtong District, have threatened to burn down a mango tree hosting a bomb-like device at Omoro Police Station. Now, Isaac Apenyo, the chairperson LC3, said that 4 explosive devices were discovered on a mango stem 4 years ago, but attempts made to have the bombs removed and detonated has been futile. He said as local leaders, they are planning to set the trees on fire, and he said the move will save the children who began frequenting the mango tree for mangoes and tampering with the devices. Let's take a look at the details.
Just 20 meters away from Omoro Police Station stands a mango tree hosting a bomb-like device on this stem. This place is said to have been the camp for UPDF soldiers during the LRA insurgency in northern Uganda. Isaac Apenyo, the chairperson of Omoro Sub-County in Alebtong District, thinks the devices could have been left by either the soldiers or the LRA rebels. According to the local authorities here, these devices were discovered in 2019, but since then all efforts to have them assessed, removed and detonated has been futile.
All our appeal and requests has been turned down. But as I talk up to date, there's nothing done. Our worry is the children has now encroached the area to get the mango tree which is getting ready.
Apenyo says they are now planning to set the mango tree on fire and run before the bomb explodes. He said this move will save the children who began frequenting the mango tree for mangoes and tampering with the devices.
We are going to do it. I'm ready to sacrifice my salary in this April here to buy paraffin and petrol. We come and spread it around here and we light. We run away. So long as we can be a distance of 100 meters, I know it will not reach us. We would have been done with it.
However, Robert Adiamada Leptong RDC says he has already informed the UPDF Engineering Brigade and soon the devices will be removed.
I have already raised that with the commanders. We shall secure the place by having that bomb detonated professionally. They shouldn't deal with it sentimentally. A bomb is not detonated sentimentally. You can't just say I'll detonate a bomb and run away. Do you know the capacity?
With the mangoes ripening fast, authorities here fear that children may tamper with the devices and cause disaster to themselves and the entire sub-county.
We don't know whether it is a time bomb, we don't know whether it will explode, we don't know whether it has already exploded or it has some few hours only to explode or some good years. But what I know as my department, it is the children who will be affected mostly.
I feel so bad because I'm seeing that the life of my people whom I'm leading them, it is in danger. And there is no any other proper action by the higher authority to help me to save the life of these people.
Eddie Olwa, UBC News.
Talk about human interest stories. In other news, Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited Board of Directors, led by engineer Proskovia M. Njuchi, says that the commissioning date of the 600 megawatts Karuma hydropower plant remains unclear. This was during the inspection of the progress of the works at Karuma hydropower project in Chiriandongo. Let's take a look. The Uganda Electricity Generation Company Limited Board of Directors, led by engineer Proskovia M. Njuki, has inspected the progress of works at the Karuma 600 megawatts hydropower project. The team acknowledges that the project's overall progress stands at 99% and is due for commissioning this year, but its exact date for commissioning has not yet been set.
For the support we received from the Line Ministry, the Ministry of Energy, they've coordinated high-level meetings which involved the Chinese ambassador, Uganda, they involved the company in China at a very high level. So the person we've got, we have no doubt that is the best they would give us, and is really proving that from what we've seen.
The Chief Executive Officer, UEGCL, Engineer Harrison Mutikanga, says that the contractor closed several non-conformances that were previously identified by the owner's engineer in the mechanical, electrical and civil works, which had delayed the project's commissioning.
We are optimistic that even the remaining few works that they need to complete so that the plant can be ready for commissioning. They have promised us, they are discussing, they are engaging, and they are going to come up with an implementation plan for commissioning the plant.
Engineer Lee Wong says that they are working day and night to see that they deliver their best.
We see today we have got very good workmanship. The workmanship already improved. So we will promise in coordination with the OE and the UGC local teams that work together and make the agreement, cross all the remaining issues, and start the generation, and get the government can get the profit from the project.
The board also inspected the progress of works for Community Development Action Program Phase 1 at Dima Primary School in Chiriandongo District, which is currently at 93% overall physical progress.
They've completed 2 blocks of classrooms, they've completed a teacher's house, and they've also completed the VIP latrines for the pupils.
The head teacher of Purongo, Odongo Boniface, says that the situation of infrastructure and furniture at the school is yet to be addressed.
Yeah, while looking at, they are accommodated within using the available structures, but our hearts really sometimes very alarming because our parents have to keep on renovating time and again, and that was also not easy for them. We believe that the new structure really will give us something, hope.
Teachers in the schools where UEGCL is supporting applauded the company for coming on board.
The discipline in the class was uncontrollable because as you are teaching and you are not reaching a child, that child can do anything. So that was how it was. Very difficult for a teacher to control.
This grass thatch house of mine here, it leaks when it is raining, and also it is not very good, especially when there is a lot of wind, and we are also scared because I also have my document there. Sometimes if I'm to take my document to the school when the school is locked, I get challenges, and sometimes I keep my document there, which is not good.
The chairperson of Noya District, Emmanuel Orach, commended the good work by UEGCL in their schools.
Lots of thanks go to Uganda Electricity Generation Company for thinking community development through the Community Development Action Plan. And this is absolutely in line with corporate social responsibility, which we really appreciate.
The story has been compiled by Kenneth Tanaba for UBC News. In other news, the Democratic Republic of Congo refugees have started trekking back to their homeland after DRC security announced the wiping out of the M23 from their area. The resident district commissioner, Chisoro, Captain Peter Mujisha, confirmed this twist of events following a 4-day firefight between DRC forces and M23. More details in this bulletin.
The resident district commissioner Kisoro, Captain Peter Mujisha, says refugees are free to go back home, and for those who do not want will remain at Nyakabande Reception Center near Kisoro municipality.
But many of them have gone. It's only the few who are just this. It's only the few who have remained behind, but they are also preparing themselves to go back. Those who are coming a little bit far, inside there in Runyonyi down, they want to know what is happening in Runyonyi. But they are here, there is nothing according to the intelligence of the Congolese which they are telling us.
Captain Peter Mujisha says, though many things at the reception center were destroyed after a lull in the DRC, government will address the discrepancies. Captain Mujisha says, over the weekend, the health department will fumigate the area to clear it of any infections. Mujisha, who was speaking to UBC reporters in Kisoro, also said that some businesses were paralyzed but have resumed work.
It is as if there was nothing here.
He expressed his gratitude to Ugandans, security and journalists for the work done to support refugees now living in the communities. Some of the refugees say they are going back home, but they are not sure if their country will sustain peace. But a few weak-hearted remain in Kisoro as they assess the situation back home.
State House Controller Madame Jane Bariechi has strongly urged the leadership of Acholi sub-region to take interest, support and own the zonal industrial hub in their area that will positively impact on the lives of the people in the region, particularly the youth. The controller, who is on a tour to industrial hubs in the country, was yesterday meeting leaders from Acholi sub-region in Oding Village, Unyama Sub-County, Aswa County, Ingulu District.
This is an industrial hub which has different roles that is going to play for us. And that's what we are here to inform you about. These industrial hubs were started to do the following reasons that the president moved around during campaigns telling Ugandans. Because when he was campaigning, he realized there was a lot of unemployment in the youth. Most people, and that is the truth. Who are these youth? These youth are those people who start from 18 to 35 years of age. So he said, how can we do this? How can these people self-employ themselves? Because you don't believe that we are going to employ all people after acquiring degrees. That one is not going to be possible. Those people who are in leadership know how it's very hard to get a job. It's not that it's hard because of bureaucracy or whatever, but they are not there. We don't have jobs, they are not there. They can't consume us, we are many. The youth group is a very big number. So that's why the president said, let me put up something that can skill these ones who cannot go up to degree level so that they can generate income for themselves and improve their income in the households. We skill these youth for 6 months. We give them a certificate, which is a standard certificate, that in case if someone fails to deploy himself or herself, he can sell his skill in any other organization and he's deployed. That is one achievement that we target to get from here. So, in short, this skilling program, if well captured, is going to benefit our youth very, very well.
You know, to raise a child in African traditional society, it is the role of society. It's not a one man's responsibility. So in raising our children, in the wisdom of the president, he has picked a few observations as a manager of this country and seen that we need skills to get better. Of course, there are many programs. There's UPE, there's USE, there are many programs of government. But this one, we have technical colleges, but we are trying to mitigate with those people who are disadvantaged to go out of the school structure or are in the communities, but we still need them to be productive. So I think this is one good agenda.
We've been pursuing or implementing decentralization, but along the way, there was a realization that decentralization had not impacted our people. Yes, powers had been sent to people, but our people still lived in poverty. Unemployment was biting seriously, and the matters the president did unearth while on his tours some time back. That's the time he conceived this idea, the idea that has been nurtured into what we have today. So I want to thank the president, thank his entire team that has labored to put the idea into the current state of infrastructure dubbed skilling industrial hubs in our different local governments.
As a big team and as a region, we should be able to ensure that the purpose
for this facility is seen in due course, which should not be far. So I think on behalf of my colleagues, we pledge our commitment to you, and it will not be a disappointment, especially to the beneficiaries, our younger generation.
As I stand before you here, we are very happy. The concept of balancing the regional balance and development, it has not been easy, but in the wisdom of our Mzee, said that no, let us balance development in the entire region of this country.
To the leadership of Acholi, although this project is in Gulu district, this project is for Acholi region. The success, the failure of this project will be on our head. I want to call for support. Let's all identify, let's support it. Yeah, there could be a few things we need to patch up here and there, but I think it's a well-thought project, and if we embrace it, it's got an opportunity to transform the lives of our people.
The Bishop Masaka Diocese, the Right Reverend Savers Jumba, has appealed for the empowerment and care of medical practitioners and where necessary settle their grievances for better service delivery. Bishop Jumba made these remarks at the first graduation ceremony of over 280 medical students of International Paramedics and Nursing School located at Nachirembe Village, Maya in Mpigi District.
The Bishop of Masaka Diocese, the Right Reverend Severus Jumba, has said the country needs more skilled and self-motivated health workers
who have qualified as nurses and paramedicals for one principal goal: to preserve the sanctity of life. Are you going to do that? Because it's an ideal. It's a lifelong goal. It's something that you are continuously aspiring to. You are not expected to achieve it in an hour, in a day, in a month, in a year. It's a lifelong calling.
Jumba was officiating the graduation ceremony of close to 280 students at the International Paramedics and Nursing School, Nachirembe Mpigi District.
Katonda okusooka mu yonna atuwanguzizza omye certificate lab sanyuse nnyo okubeera wano nga mu graduating nga kino kyalinga ekirooto okutandika nga nkyali muto nga njagala nnyo okubeera omusawo.
The head International Paramedics and Nursing School, Dr. Grace Stephen Selyange, pleaded for a subsidized tax regime on private-owned institutions.
Tubasabye bagende kye tubayigiriza okwetandikira emirimu. Abazadde abasinga baagala ositula obuzito bwonna. Ne gavumenti emisolo gizza olumu gye gitubinikibwako nga mingi nnyo, tusaba gikendeezebweko.
Wakiso District Chairman Matia Lwangabwanika appealed for the setting up of many higher institutions of learning across the country to increase the skilled manpower.
Kano amatendekero g'ebyobulamu ku bbula lye tulina n'ebizibu bye tulina kyenkana buli ggombolola yandadde erina.
In another development, the chief guest at East African University's third graduation ceremony for Rwandan students, which happened via Zoom, Professor Mondo Kagonyera lauded graduates for their resilience.
I also commend the graduates for their patience and resilience, given the fact that they have waited for this moment for nearly a year.
Kampala University Vice Chancellor Professor Badru Katerega asked the government to empower higher institutions of learning with a good working environment to deliver quality service to the people in need. Ivan Juko, Flower Semper, UBC News.
And that takes us for a short commercial break. We'll be back with more UBC News tonight. Stay tuned.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Copper shops.
Government of Uganda, through the Uganda Bureau of Statistics (UBOS), is undertaking nationwide census mapping aimed at providing an up-to-date list of enumeration areas and administrative units in the country ahead of the National Population and Housing Census of 2023. The UBOS field teams will be using Global Positioning Systems (GPS) for mapping all administrative infrastructure, households and other facilities such as hotels, schools, hospitals and water sources to facilitate production of the updated LC1, parish, sub-county and district area maps showing all the physical features and social amenities. The census mapping will further aid development of a countrywide data for information systems as a pillar for effective implementation of the parish development model. This is to appeal to the entire government leadership, all stakeholders and the general public to support the field teams that will be deployed across the country. Announced by Dr. Chris Ndatira Muchiza, the Executive Director and Chief Statistician. For further clarifications, please contact the Office of the Executive Director on 0755 342 128.
When COVID came, it felt like it destroyed everything my mom had built. She was ready to let go of her dreams. But when one door shuts, a window opens. She grabbed her last command and took a leap of faith. She refused to give up. So with a bit of daring and Grandma's secret recipe, her business was back. And not just bigger, beyond her wildest imagination.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church Kampala, accompanied by great anointed preachers including Apostle Alex Mitara, Pastor Nicholas Wafula, Pastor Peter Emiao, Pastor Peterson Susi, and many more, together with all the pastors of born-again churches of Bunyoro region. That includes Kagadi, Masindi, Hoima. Call upon all God's people, born again or non-born again, to come and witness the power of God in your life. The first ever Bunyoro region-wide crusades. All districts gather together in one place at Kagadi Town Council next to National Water Services on the 5th, 6th and 7th April 2022 at 2 p.m.
Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans. Get a top-up loan when you have insufficient funds to buy airtime, pay utility bills or make payments at a local supermarket. Complete your transaction and pay later. Dial *185*7*10# to opt in. Get an Airtel Money Quick Loan and pay later. Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans in partnership with Housing Finance Bank and powered by Yabex. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Broadcasting live from Nile Avenue, also on social media, that is YouTube, particularly under the name tag UBC TV Uganda. We'll now take you more into the bulletin. Northern Uganda, like the rest of the country, continues to mourn the loss of their great son, the Speaker Jacob Olanya, who was also the Member of Parliament for Omoro County. The body of the former Speaker was brought from Seattle, USA on Friday evening, beginning the process of the burial ceremonies that will last for an entire week. These are the details.
The Acholi have appreciated government for the respect paid to their late son Jacob Olanya, especially repatriating his body from where he died 2 weeks ago.
Thank the government of Uganda to allow this body to arrive. If the body were not to reach in Uganda, at least that one could give us some more worry. We felt very bad.
Area residents remain in a sorrowful mood 2 weeks after the demise of the former Speaker, Jacob Olanya.
I have very fond memories of the late Jacob Olanya.
this is a very great loss to us as Northern Uganda Media Club. He was our good friend and a very generous man who was always at our service whenever we wanted him most. I think this country has lost a great man because we knew his potential, but did not live long enough to give this country his best.
A resident of Gulu, George Ovola, expressed his gratitude to the government for honoring Jacob Olanya with the Bola traditional dance.
Because that is what he used to cherish a lot, and I like the song they sang for him because you could see a real son, the Luo son in dancing La Bala.
Area leaders are calling for calm and want communities across northern Uganda to unite during the sad moment as they continue to mourn one of their best sons that ever walked the area.
The best we can do now is to give him a very good send-off. And as a region, let's remain united. Let the death of Jacob not divide us, but let's remain united.
And today, at least, we are happy that his body has reached the country. And at last, we shall put him to where he should rest. And we pray that from now to the day we are going to lay him to rest, nothing should come and disorganize the program that have already been set.
Former Speaker of Parliament Olanya died on the 20th of March 2022 at a hospital in the United States city of Seattle.
The March 2022 Certified Public Accountants Examination of Uganda have been released with female candidates performing better than their male counterparts. Out of the 1,560 papers passed, 53% were by female, with male counterparts at 46.3%. The Public Accountants Examination Board Chairperson, CPA Geoffrey Biamugisha, explains that female candidates have tended to be keener and better prepared for the PAEB examinations. These are the details.
In economies where the number of accountants is up, you actually see that being reflected by the level of development.
The Public Accountants Examination Board of Uganda has released the March 2022 examination diet with female candidates performing far better than their male counterparts.
The ladies tend to concentrate on the course. They tend to be to give it time to prepare for the examination.
11 of the top candidates in the just released Public Accountants Examination Board results are female, a feat that has been repeated in several other recent accountants examinations.
11 or 52.4% of the top candidates are female, and 10 or 47.6% are men.
The president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, Constantine Mayende Othieno, released the examinations in the presence of the Public Accountants Examination Board members, Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda Management, and the media at Sky's Hotel in Kampala.
By virtue of the powers entrusted to me as the president of the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda, I hereby declare the Certified Public Accountants results for the March 2022 examinations diet released.
The Public Accountants Examination Board Chairman, Geoffrey Biamugisha, explained that the March 2022 examinations were sat in Kampala by 2,890 candidates and were exclusively for CPA course. At least 93 candidates completed the course and have been invited to officially join the 4,455 professional accountants who have so far completed the CPA course by the Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda since the examinations diets started over 2 decades ago.
Our numbers continue to grow, and we are growing at an encouraging rate. We have a duty as accountants in Uganda to ramp up the numbers And I know that will have a direct correlation with the development of our country.
Studies have shown that where an economy has a vibrant accountancy profession, that economy moves faster.
The Institute of Certified Public Accountants of Uganda is mandated by an Act of Parliament to examine, regulate, monitor and enroll all accountants in Uganda. Lydia Chomkama, UBC News.
Now, there is a concern among women in Kabale following their failure to embrace land rights. A recent study by Chigezi Women in Development, a local non-government organization in the region, indicates that 98% of the women in Kabale are ignorant of their rights to own land.
The Executive Director Chigezi Women in Development, Florence Tumuhaire, says women are not aware of their land rights, a situation derailing social change in the region. She says the challenge has limited the capacity of women in decision-making pertaining to land priorities.
Because there are some women who were in the groups to get coffee seedlings, but because they had to first go and seek for approval from their husbands, the coffee was shared by those who were confidently in the position to make a decision without first going to seek for approval from their husbands.
Tumuhaire says there is also an increase in land-related gender-based violence cases in the region that need to be addressed.
73.5% of the women who were interviewed had experienced land-related gender-based violence, and 95% mentioned that each one knew of a woman or many women who have experienced gender-based violence. Even the laws are not clear to them. For them, they know that the land belongs to women, to men. Each land, each type of land belongs to men.
Some of the victims, land-related gender-based violence, narrate their experiences.
Naheza ntagira ati kamfera baba nagumana ukanagirege narabamu umukikuru nabaramu banje bandajwe mu bintu bibiri banyakitaka ibyo kuyitu kali nishi kali kisha ibyo nabivugaho najya wabana ko bari kuratujyahe bose.
Activists believe that securing proper land tenure systems for women will improve their economic empowerment.
The Ministry of Health has named the best and least performing regions in administering of COVID-19 vaccines since the mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign started in March 2021. According to the current national COVID-19 vaccination status obtained by the Ministry of Health on 27th March 2022, Kampala is leading with 105% for the first dose coverage, followed by Chigezi sub-region with 88% coverage of the targeted group.
Last year, Uganda rolled out mass COVID-19 vaccination campaign with an aim of vaccinating at least 49.6% of its population of more than 40 million persons. Of now, at least 18,648,279 eligible people have been vaccinated, of which 14,602,743 have received the first dose, 4,007,573 have received the second dose, and 37,963 have received a booster dose. Kampala was named as the best performing region with 105% in administering the first dose, followed by Kigezi region with 88%.
Kampala had administered the first dose is standing at 105%, followed by Kigezi. Kigezi is composed of Ruhakana, Rugunda, Kisoro, and Kanungu. They are standing at 88%.
Karamoja and South Central regions have been named as the worst performing areas in administering of the COVID-19 vaccines.
We have challenges in Karamoja, where first dose coverage remains at 48%, and that is very low, but also parts of Acholi, districts like Noya, Amuru, then also in Bugisu, Pakwach, Buko, Kagadi, Nabiratu, Kotido, Amdat.
In Chigezi region, it was found out that the vibrant district's COVID-19 task forces, coupled with exemplary local leaders, enabled the region to vaccinate 88% of the targeted group.
Look at me, who took the vaccine on the 17th of March, 2021. Actually, I'm very happy here now. Is the vaccine? Yes. 2021. 17th March 2021 is when I took the first shot of AstraZeneca vaccine.
At first, they feared that the vaccine would have some effect on them. But after sensitizing them, they responded and went for vaccination.
Government and various stakeholders have appealed to regions that performed poorly to embrace mass vaccination, just like Kampala and Chigezi sub-regions.
The role that has been played by the leadership, as explained by the WHO, is key to improving our vaccination coverage. And I hope all the other district leaderships will be able to replicate what the WHO has just told us.
We hope that the districts can continue to mobilize the communities to see that all these vaccines are utilized. We wouldn't want to have the vaccines, expire. And we also want to thank our donors that support us to reach the districts, to support the government through these campaigns, not only for COVID-19 vaccination, but as well as the routine immunization.
The district leaders were applauded by the development partners for their tireless efforts in the fight against the spread of the COVID-19 in the region.
State Minister for Animal Industry and Fisheries at the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, Lieutenant Colonel Bright Ramirama has launched the first phase of the Uganda SASE Trypanosomiasis Resource Center at Njeru Stock Farm in Buikwe District. The first phase of the resource center has been constructed with support of government under the Uganda Trypanosomiasis Control Council, established by an Act of Parliament in 1992 as a corporate body to rationalize the SASE and trypanomiasis research and control in Uganda.
This resource center was transferred to 4 acres at Njeru Stock Farm at the dismantling of the Tororo Livestock Research Institute, which was the best and the biggest in East and Central Africa. Lieutenant Colonel Ramirama said government has established this resource center to prove a safe and stimulating environment where scientists and community members can explore their own unique potential as they select from a variety of innovative solutions available for SASE and trypanosomiasis elimination at the center.
Government has established this resource center to provide a safe and stimulating environment where scientists and community members can explore their own unique potential as they select from a variety of innovative solutions available for SASE and trypanosomiasis elimination at the center.
SASE and trypanosomiasis is a transboundary problem. Therefore, recently, government has resumed efforts to eradicate SASE and trypanosomiasis with neighboring countries and promised that at one time Uganda and the region should be free of SASE and trypanosomiasis. The center is to offer skills training to various cadres, and the minister commissioned and passed out 20 trainees in SASE trap making.
As we go for rationalization and merger of the 2 departments, we shall establish a department of vector control. And this will not only deal with the SASE, but will deal with others, and we still continue to work with the Ministry of Health.
The Executive Director for the Coordinating Office for Control of Trypanosomiasis in Uganda, Professor Charles Waiswa, said the objective of the center is to domesticate technologies that will enhance SASE and trypanosomiasis control in Uganda and the region under the Pan-African arrangement. The center shall be looking closely at diagnostics both in human and animal for easy detection of the disease, plus monitoring of the treatments given to animals.
Today, we can proudly say in the past 20 months, only one Ugandan has been hospitalized for sleeping sickness, and we regard that as an achievement. In the animal livestock sector, we have areas where we have freed the human of the disease. It has been accompanied by freedom of the livestock from the disease, where the percentages infected have significantly reduced.
Dr. Wangola Robert Mandela, the operations manager, coordinating office for control of trypanosomiasis in Uganda, asserted that the disease affects so many parameters like fertility in the animals, causing 14% of the calves produced in the country to die of trypanosomiasis every year. He affirmed that they should be able to eliminate trypanosomiasis. He added that the areas highly at risk are around the national parks and big water bodies in Karamoja region, Teso sub-region, Lango sub-region, in Bunyoro sub-region. In southwestern Uganda, it is mainly the districts surrounding Lake Mburo National Park in the Rwenzori region.
In Toroko, in the Rwenzori region, it is Kasese, Toroko, mainly that are affected. But generally, it is those areas surrounding national parks and big water bodies where we need to concentrate to make sure we eliminate this disease from livestock.
Brian Tumwinebia Ruhanga, UBC News.
In other news, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has said that in order for the region to deal with emerging security threats, it must strengthen economies and empower its people. The president was giving an opportunity lecture to the delegation of the Command and Staff College Duluti, Arusha, Tanzania. The team comprises of 48 participants, among them 11 sponsor directing staff and 34 students. The participants are from 9 different countries including Tanzania, Burundi, Kenya, Bangladesh, Kingdom of Eswatini, Egypt, Malawi, Mozambique and Zimbabwe. The president gave the delegation a brief history of Uganda's liberation story and urged them to borrow a leaf. The president cautioned against the issue of promoting identity, including that of religion, tribe and gender, as opposed to interests. The fragmentation was on the question of emphasizing identity of tribe, religion and gender instead of interests. President Museveni said that it is important to ensure that people live a prosperous life in a modern way by having enough food, clothing, good housing, good education, good health, and so on. President Museveni said Uganda had a big problem of subsistence farming where people would produce for eating and forget about production for the pocket money. The president said that with surplus production comes the principle of Pan-Africanism, where surplus goods are sold to other countries. He said that the third principle is socio-economic transformation. On the principle of democracy, the president said this allows all political parties to get involved in free and fair elections, and by so doing, a political leader will serve the people, and there will be a unity and prosperity for all, since they look for votes from all people irrespective of their identity such. The team leader and college commandant Brigadier General Guliku said that the tour is under the theme Regional Blocks Combined Combat Readiness to Handle Emerging Security Threats, and they selected Uganda as their case study. Brigadier Guliku said that they're indebted to the East African community and other regional blocks where each one from the group belongs to safeguard the peace and security of their own people and be at the forefront in the military cooperation and integration of their countries, as they will be directed by their leaders so as to be able to mitigate or eradicate the emerging security threats within their communities. The delegation later presented gifts to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni as a sign of appreciation for the warm welcome to Uganda.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 200 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite show.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Need to send money to a loved one? You don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
Welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We now take you to the world of business. Now, over 70% of Ugandans are engaged in agriculture-related activities, mainly subsistence farming at small scale. Uganda is among the countries whose economy depends on agriculture, despite the fact that many farmers are not commercially farming. What is the question? We're not asking. Let's take a look.
The Managing Director, Prime Agrofarm Uganda Limited, Sebastian Rutagambwa, wants farmers to implement the President's advice of embracing commercial farming.
Uganda, we sell feeds to people who have square miles, but we find that with this drought, they had challenges of feeds. But for us, we are using our small land, get hay, get silage, get all the feeds, and even we get surplus for sale. What does that mean? We are employing the technology of using a smaller land and you get high production, which you can use as the farm and also sell to other farmers.
This was during a study tour by Mission 2021 to 2026 from Mukono District to a 300-acre Prime Agrofarm Uganda Limited in Zirobwe, Luwero District. Rutagambwa says over 70% of Uganda's working population is employed in agriculture, and the country produces a wide range of agricultural products from various crops. The leader of Mission 2021 to 2026 from Mukono District, Semango David, said they will utilize the skills gained to set up profitable agriculture projects.
Trying to change the mindset of the youth. Changing the mindset of the youth in accordance to what we can do with our hands as youth. In most cases, we see youth trying to demonstrate, trying to...
The LC3 chairperson, Zirobwe Town Council, Pasco Omalach, commended government for a conducive environment offered to them and appealed for the upgrading of rural roads for actual economic development.
We have decided to follow behind NRM and follow NRM 100%. What do we request from NRM? It is to give us services. We have our road, which comes from Kabimbiri via Zirobwe to Obolens. They should tarmac this road because very many vehicles come from Kenya.
Brian Tumwinebya Ruhanga, Salongo Kasibante, UBC News.
Skills development certifications qualify solar accessories, among others, are key benchmarks that are being emphasized under a new program by development partners GIZ and private sector. This call comes at a time when government is pushing for up to 10% of access in remarkable energy solutions under the NDP3. Lisa Hoffanes from GIZ's PREP program that energy efficiency in access and use was speaking during a stakeholder meeting in Kampala convened by the Sandair Academy.
Need for increased investment in hybrid solar systems, including solar technicians with competencies to sustain growth of the renewable energy sector.
Making sure that you support and enhance the mandate of local actors in the market is definitely necessary, and the only way that this can actually ultimately be sustainable. I do really appreciate Sandair's work in this context, as they are really, in my opinion, addressing all actors in these sectors and everyone along the value chain.
This has been raised by the development partners during a meeting in Kampala, where hundreds of solar technicians from different regions of the country were being advised on quality assurance.
We've been having challenges with this issue of counterfeit products, fake products, and poor installations because of poor skilled labor. But right now, our umbrella organization, UNREA, USEA, they are really working hand in hand with UNBS to put into order the issue of quality standards, and they're also working with the international standards like IEC and the rural electrification agents to make sure that they put the standards that are required in place. And so we are seeing an improvement in the quality of products that come in. We are seeing an improvement in the intake of the technologies because people are trusting it better.
The development partners are also asking small and medium enterprises to scale up on investment in renewable energy solutions in order to meet the growing national development.
I see a lot of big cars, I see a lot of big houses, I see a lot of people who all have their mobile phone. So there are wealthy people, wealthy investors. They shouldn't invest outside Uganda, they should invest in the renewable energy sector in Uganda. It's time, now.
According to the head of assessment at the Directorate of Industrial Training, certifying of solar technicians is key in guarding against poor workmanship.
The journey has started. We need still to certify so many solar PV technicians. Like at least for the Kamyufus in Umeme, we got support from private sector foundation, and now majority of the Kamyufus in Umeme have been assessed and certified, and now they are no longer Kamyufus. But what I know of right now, we still have some Kamyufus in this sector of solar PV technician.
These youthful technicians are now expected to support the ease of installation for thousands of new homes and commercial users.
Over 90% of the electricity that we are having in this country is coming from renewable energy resources. And that means that the market is very large.
That I'm able to do household installations. I'm able to install solar systems in schools, offices, street lighting, and I'm also doing business in solar. I have a shop in solar products.
Really benefited a lot. And today we are here to meet one another. We are here to network. We are here to exchange ideas. Again, to also listen to the government of Uganda through the various ministries, development partners and agencies.
Brought to you by.
We're here to build because at the end of the day, we're truly Ugandan.
Exactly 2100 hours, that is 9 o'clock. Thank you for being a part of this 8 o'clock bulletin. Join us later on at 10 o'clock for another news bulletin. My name is Wadulo Mark Arnold Mugalu Mohammed on sign language. See you at 10.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.